We won the case in Court of Appeals.
Now at 6, President Trump takes a victory lap while the legal wrangling continues over a National Guard deployment in Portland.
We're going to continue to fight against the president and his attempt to normalize the use of military on our streets.
Plus, how Portland city leaders continue to push back while also sidestepping at least one tough question.
What I want everybody in Portland to do is continue to peacefully protest. Let's not go backwards.
Then,
pulled a weapon and shot at them, and it hit my sister in the spine.
A woman left paralyzed after trying to break up a fight in Gresham.
and later, a strange scene on the coast where sea cucumbers washed up by the thousands. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Padawanich. Today, President Trump addressed the Ninth Circuit Court ruling that appears to have paved the way for the National Guard to deploy to Portland.
A very strong opinion that we have the right to use the National Guard. You would think that would be common sense. We have the right to use the National Guard to put out trouble.
But local and state leaders in Oregon say the legal battle is not over yet, and plenty of questions remain over when the Guard could arrive and what they would do if they're deployed to Portland.
We'll check in with Blair Best at the ICE building in South Portland in just a moment, but first, team coverage begins with Kyle Leboshi in the newsroom digging into the court battle. Kyle?
When the legal wrangling continues as both sides seek clarity from the court.
Monday's ruling from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals gave the Trump administration the green light to deploy National Guard troops to Portland. But when they'll get here and what exactly they'll be doing remains unclear. Among the lingering questions, when will the National Guard arrive in Portland? It's not clear. Even Oregon's governor admits she's been left in the dark.
We have approximately 200 Oregon National Guard members still at Camp Rylea in limbo, as well as the California National Guard members at Camp Withicum. No idea of the mission, no idea of the timeline.
The Ninth Circuit ruling overturned a lower court order temporarily blocking the deployment of Oregon National Guard troops. But it's still unclear what impact that will have on a second temporary restraining order, which covered all federalized National Guard troops, not just those from Oregon. Lawyers for the Trump administration asked Judge Karen Immergitt to dissolve her second order, clearing the way for troops to mobilize. If that happens, what will the National Guard do? Earlier this month, U.S. Northern Command, which is coordinating the mission, wrote, "The National Guard troops will protect U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and other U.S. government personnel who are performing federal functions, including the enforcement of federal law and to protect federal property." For months, a small but persistent group of demonstrators has gathered outside the ICE facility in South Portland, sometimes clashing with federal agents assigned to protect it. According to Northern Command, in addition to their assigned weapon, the troops will carry a helmet, face shield, baton, and gas mask. By law, they can't make arrests. Portland's mayor, Keith Wilson, says he doesn't want troops on the streets.
What I want everybody in Portland to do is continue to peacefully protest. Let's not go backwards. Let's continue to care for our community members and keep moving forward and trust our Attorney General and the Governor to guide us in the federal courts.
So what's next? Could courts still stop the deployment? Lawyers for Oregon and the city of Portland immediately asked the Ninth Circuit to reconsider Monday's decision. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield posted this message on social media.
We're going to continue to fight against the president and his attempt to normalize the use of military on our streets, and we will continue to fight to uphold the rule of law and our Constitution and the sovereignty of our state.
Both sides have until Wednesday to file arguments on whether the Ninth Circuit should rehear the case before a larger 11-judge panel.
This afternoon, Oregon and the city of Portland filed a response to the Trump administration's request for Judge Immergitt to lift her second temporary restraining order. They argue Judge Immergitt should keep that order in place until the Ninth Circuit has made a decision whether to review the case.
Well, thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you getting into the fine print on all of this, as always. By the way, at the local level, members of Portland City Council say they are also not giving up the fight.
Let's get to our Blair Best outside the ICE building in South Portland. Blair, what's it looking like right now?
So more people have started to gather around the building. We've been here for about 3 hours now. Let's take a look. There's people dressed in costume, holding signs, playing music, some people yelling through megaphones. Portland police officers are on the ground as some federal agents, about 3 of them, stand on the roof. As for those National Guard troops, no signs of them here today. Likely they will not be here for several days as there are still some legal wrinkles that need to be worked out. But today I did talk with a handful of Portland city councilors who continue to say the National Guard is not needed in Portland. They called Monday's ruling troubling, but say they're not backing down. In the coming months, Councilor Samir Kanal will introduce new legislation regarding how federal agents identify themselves and their use of tear gas and pepper spray. Meanwhile, Council President Ilana Pertolgini is looking to the potential long-term impacts of Monday's ruling.
It's concerning to me what that says for our rights as a local community.
Could the city of Portland done more to prevent this?
Well, that's certainly the president's argument, but I think what we have before us right now is a question about what the powers of the president are and just how far they extend.
The city and the state are going to utilize the full range of our legal options that we have.
Okay, so next week, the city and state are going in front of a judge to present their argument that sending federal troops to Portland is not legal and should not be happening. The council president tells me she's hoping for an opportunity for a larger panel of Ninth Circuit Court judges to hear their case and give a new ruling. Back to you.
Lots of pieces in motion. Thanks for the update, Blair. Meantime, Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley was on CNN talking about the court's decision to allow National Guard troops in Portland.
You're going to hear him reference Title 10, which the president invoked to federalize the National Guard. Take a listen.
What one of the judges said is that there's been no arrests in weeks. That's a pretty peaceful setting. The other 2 judges said, well, let's go back 2.5 months to an earlier point in time when there were more arrests. And they also said, hey, it's the president. We should take into account his version of the world. But let me point out, Title 10 does not have anything in it about deference to the president's opinion. Insurrection Act does have that, but Title 10 doesn't. It has a standard. Is there a rebellion? Is there an invasion? That's the standard, and that's what the judge has a responsibility to evaluate based on the facts presented to the judge, and that's what she did. And she said there's no rebellion, there's no invasion, this is not authorized, and now we'll have to see what the other courts say.
Now, as we speak, Senator Merkley has also been delivering a marathon speech on the Senate floor. This is a live look. You can see the sign next to him saying Trump is violating the law. What he's talking about is basically protesting what he describes as, quote, President Trump's grave threats to democracy. The senator is expected to speak for as long as he can. That is according to an aide.
That looks like the second or third sign we've seen. So apparently he's got a collection here, right?
Exactly.
All right.
And community organizers say hundreds of volunteers from around the Portland metro area have come forward to help record and verify ICE arrests.
Our team coverage continues with Libby Dowsett in Hillsborough.
These volunteers are called legal observers. So when they get word that ICE is in the area, they respond to document what happens. Community groups say the Trump administration's immigration crackdown appears to be picking up in the Hillsborough area.
You're not going anywhere.
This video, recorded by Kylie Delgado and her husband 1 week ago, shows them blocking what appears to be an agent from U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE.
People on the streets of Hillsborough Tuesday say there's growing fear of ICE in the community.
A lot of people call me like, hey, do you see anything around, like on the street? Like, well, I've been around and I haven't seen anything.
Joel Rosas says he just heard of a recent arrest outside the Washington County Jail.
People are scared about it, really scared. That's why you don't see like many people out on the street no more, because they're afraid of the ICE being deported.
That's where legal observers like Elizabeth Bragg come in.
I've always believed in the dignity of everybody.
Bragg is with PIRC, Portland Immigrant Rights Coalition. It's made up of a growing community of volunteers who show up to verify ICE arrests and share that information.
We do not obstruct. If we are asked to step back, we're told to record ourselves taking that step back.
Bragg says she and a large network of volunteers have been trained to serve as neutral third parties for court hearings.
It's time out of all our busy lives. I'm a mom. I'm, active in the community in other ways, but I think it's really important for us to show up for those, our neighbors and our friends and our colleagues.
Critics say they're getting in the way of federal agents who are just doing their job. But Bragg says people on the streets have been appreciative since ICE agents provide so little information.
There's no accountability, there's no apology, there's no nothing. It's like, well, too bad, we took you and yeah, we might have been wrong, but who cares? And that is not what the United States is about.
PERC has information on its website to find out how to become a legal observer. It also has information on knowing your rights if you are confronted by ICE. And they say they are always looking for volunteers. In Hillsborough, Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
In your headlines this evening, 4 people have been arrested and more than 100 reportedly detained after federal agents, including ICE, raided a horse racing facility in western Idaho. Investigators say it involves an illegal gambling operation, though it appears some who were detained were there to watch the races. In a statement, Homeland Security says those who were detained are in the country illegally.
Tomorrow will mark 22 days of the government shutdown, and millions of Americans could lose out on their November SNAP benefits. In Oregon, SNAP helps more than 750,000 people afford groceries. We spoke to a soon-to-be mom of 5 who said she has a hard time stretching that money over the entire month.
Shockingly, yeah, especially because the kids, they grow and they have to constantly eat or snack.
We spoke to the executive director of the Sunshine Division, who says they plan on extending hours over the next couple of weeks. They say the longer the government shutdown lasts, the more people they expect to see needing help.
Well, to Tigard now, where 6th graders at Fowler Middle School were served pretzels contaminated with oven cleaner. The Tigard-Tualatin School District says this happened during lunch yesterday, and the school immediately contacted poison control. The school also got in touch with affected parents, telling them to be on the lookout for symptoms like vomiting or a burning sensation. Right now, it's not exactly clear how the contaminated food ended up being served to students.
And on the coast, where thousands of sea cucumbers have been washing up on Seaside Beach, the Seaside Aquarium says heavy seas and low tides have uprooted the animals. Normally, they're nestled down in the sand, but rough ocean conditions can dislodge them and leave them stranded like you see here. It's typical to see some on the beach, but not this many. Oh, really sad to see those sea cucumbers. Matt, wish I could say they're enjoying the sunshine like we are today.
Yeah, I doubt they are.
I know, I said I wish.
I don't think that's their jam at all. All right, but we certainly had a beautiful afternoon after the morning fog. The mountain's still out, still beautiful. We're losing the snow that we got this weekend, but there's still a little bit lingering there. Warmed up, though, into the 50s at 6,000 feet at Timberline Lodge in the Mount Hood National Forest. Looking south from Timberline, oh, great, great view. Mount Jefferson and the Three Sisters, really nice color in the sky. We'll time-lapse this for you for the late news, so stick around for that or come back for that. 53 degrees again there. Now, tomorrow, we'll have a little fog in the morning, but it won't last as long as it did today. Shouldn't be quite as extensive either. Becomes partly sunny, then mostly cloudy, and by later in the afternoon, a few showers pop up. That's just a weak weather system, not a big deal. Kind of the appetizer. The main events come on Friday and Saturday with 2 distinct and separate storms. The first one in atmospheric river. The second one spins up on the coast on Friday, so we have a weather impact alert for both those days. It's going to be the most active weather we've seen all fall, and it will have an impact on your weekend as we had a lot of rain, maybe some flooded intersections and a lot of wind too, and heavy snow begins in the Cascades as well. We'll talk about how much in a bit, guys.
Yeah, break out the rain jackets and umbrellas. Thanks, Matt.
Developing this evening, a Gresham mother of 2 has been left paralyzed after her family says she was shot while she was trying to help a stranger.
Celine Stevens is live in Gresham with her family's message tonight. Celine.
David, Christine, so that shooting happened here in this Gresham strip mall parking lot off of Northeast Division. And tonight, that woman is left recovering in the hospital after suffering a gunshot wound to the spine as she and her family try to process what happened. Early Sunday morning, around 2:30, 30-year-old Miranda Rice and her partner were leaving the Division Sports Pub when her sister says they saw a man being attacked in the parking lot.
The whole situation just kind of proves of who she is. You know, she was helping a stranger.
Jessica Hawash says her sister and her boyfriend stepped in to break up the fight, but when they walked away, one of the attackers pulled a gun.
When they went to go leave after trying to separate it, one of the patrons that was attacking the guy on the ground pulled a weapon and shot at them, and it hit my sister in the spine.
Rice was awake and talking after the shooting, even telling their mom what happened from inside the ambulance. Doctors later told the family she suffered life-changing injuries.
She's in an immense amount of pain. She lost a kidney, so she's feeling a lot of that. And they just basically confirmed that she's a paraplegic.
Rice, a mother of 2 girls, had been getting her life back on track and was supposed to move to a new apartment Tuesday.
She was just kind of really getting her feet on the ground. She's scared. She just keeps saying, like, he tried to kill me for no reason, like I was just trying to help.
Gresham police say they responded to a report of a fight with at least 1 gunshot fired in the Hood Center parking lot, adding the suspect or suspects ran before officers arrived. Now, a GoFundMe has been created to help with medical bills and recovery costs.
Miranda she will help anybody at any time. You know, she's really strong. She loves her kids.
Her sister says Rice is refusing to give up, convinced she'll walk again.
She's in high spirits, she's not believing them that she's not going to walk. So I think that's half the battle. She's going to fight.
So there's currently no suspect description, but anybody with any information is urged to contact Gresham Police Department. Back to you.
Sending our hearts out to the Miranda and her family. Thank you, Celine.